So yes, I was invited to speak at a women's conference in Ipswich. It was organized by the wife of the Lutheran pastor down there, so the Lutheran church. And to give you a bit of context, it's still quite traditional. The pastor, he's only been there shortly, and just out of SEM, he said he stopped wearing the gown, and there were still issues about that. So just to give you the setting, so I did, when we went down, I did ask him, and yeah, Latoya came with me and Myrna to help with prayer. I did ask Roloff before, so I said, is it okay to mention tongues or to mention prophecy, because you don't want to upset people unnecessarily. And he said, well, some would be okay, but others may not. But he said, you just speak what God puts on your heart, which was really encouraging, and I thought great of him to trust me with that. So the day went really well. I was surprised after every session, and there were 4 sessions, we offered prayer, and people always came forward, even though for a lot of them that's not the done thing. And for the last session, then I thought, okay, well, pray for the Holy Spirit, which was a new thing for, I think, most of them. And you put yourself out a little bit, because I organized catches, I introduced it a little bit with the Holy Spirit, and so saying, this is what we want to do. And, and then if people come forward, nothing happens, it's a bit like, oh. But things did happen. It's not like it was a totally wild meeting, but women went down under the Spirit, there were tears, and they were definitely being touched. And we prayed for, I think, over an hour, which, because I looked at the clock, which is surprising, because it was really just a small conference. After I went to Beck and I said, will some women have issues with the fact that some went down on the floor under the Spirit? And she said, well, those ladies that I thought would have an issue with it, they were the ones falling, so I think we'll be fine. And one lady came up to me. I had spoken, in the morning I had spoken about the fact that in our first years of ministry we didn't have any conversions, and that was a bit frustrating. So after that, one lady comes up to me and she says, it's actually not true, you didn't have any conversions. And she told me that in those first years, we're at St. John's at the time, she didn't go to church anywhere, and somehow she connected with Edgar, rang him up, and she was really struggling, not sure if God existed. So she rang him up, and they met up in the car park. And then Edgar said, well, I think I need to pray for you. He took her into church, prayed for her, laying hands on her. And she said when he did that, it was just so weird. I thought, no, I'm not going to take anything from that. But she said when she left, the words he spoke during that prayer, they just wouldn't let go, and they really hit home. And so even for the following years, they kept coming back to her to such an extent that eventually she became a Christian because of it. And I thought we wouldn't have never known if she hadn't told us. So the words you speak and the interaction you have with people, they do a lot more than you know and think and you're aware of.